I'm just not expecting Sami Zayn to win at all now. Like I wasn't even before this, but now I'm really like, well, this has made it even worse for me, and I kind of feel sorry for the fans because they want to cheer for Sami Zayn, and they will cheer for him. Don't get me wrong, but now they probably haven't got even the slightest glimmer of hope in this, and it would be shocking if he did win it, and by all means, if WWE do that, then my hat's off to them. But I just feel like this is just dampened it down a bit, like that kind of energy and the buzz for it will be so much. It could have been so much better if they just left it with Dolph Ziggler, I think. And despite Dolph might get a little bit of heat because it's in Canada, who cares? I mean, really, is it that much of a big deal? I really don't think it is. And to be honest with you, I think both of them would have just been cheered throughout the match anyway. I don't think it would have been terrible. So, yeah, just a little bit of a shame. I'm going with Miz all over on this. Like I said, I don't understand why they've done that, but I'm going to go with Miz retaining the title on this one. Any different from you, Matt?
Yeah, I'm going to go heavily on that side. I can't see any point in both US title and in the Continental title being on Raw.
I can't imagine why they would suddenly do that. Makes no sense at all. It even makes it even more worse, doesn't it, before the match, knowing that. Okay, let's go to the Cruiserweight Championship now, and this is, well, it's been a bit of a nightmare, Matt, the Cruiserweight division since it's came on. I think we both agree with that, and a lot of the fans have been a little bit bored of it, the way it's been produced, and now it looks like it's going to have its own show after SmackDown, so God knows what's happening here, but the Brian Kendrick, who's the current champion, goes up against Kalisto now, and if Kalisto wins, the title and the Cruiserweight division will transfer to SmackDown. Well, I think I know what's going to happen here, don't I? Because they've announced when the tapings are going to take place for this new program, which is going to be on the same night as they tape SmackDown. So as soon as that goes off, the Cruiserweight thing goes on. I mean, it's a little bit. I wish WWE would be a little bit more careful with what they tell people, but. Matt, is this a foregone conclusion as well? And I mean, it's almost like they haven't made their mind up. And I mean, it does make you wonder if Kalisto is. I mean, if the Cruiserweight is going that way, would they have two belts on Raw? Perhaps I have no idea, but I don't know where they go with this stuff. But it looks like from what I'm gathering, the Cruiserweight belt is heading with Kalisto almost there.
Yeah, I would go with that. I think Kalisto was the only option they really had for someone to contend for it within that weight division.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's capable enough, and I think we always thought that the Cruiserweights would come to SmackDown anyway. It just felt like more of a natural home, like the way it used to be when SmackDown first did the brand split, and that
sure.
all the Cruiserweights used to be predominantly on SmackDown.
Absolutely, yeah. Just the whole Cruiserweight business going in, I feel sorry for Perkins because I think he's had a real rough time of it. I just feel the whole presentation, the way they've done it has been, it's literally floored them. Like, they have not had a great time with this. This is not how I wanted the Cruiserweight belt. I thought they were going to kind of treat this like another, like they seem to be getting so used to sort of looking at UFC on their titles and keeping them all the same, and I thought it was just going to be a weight class thing. I thought they were going to keep this legit, but they haven't, Matt. They've almost just said to everybody, this is your Cruiserweights, and everything changes, the ropes changes for some reason. It's just like, look at this is the weaker stuff, and then we put on normal Raw stuff around it. I mean, it's not great stuff at all. I hope that on this new show that goes a lot better for these guys. But the Brian Kendrick, I have no problem with him. I think he's a great worker and everything else. But I just think Kalisto winning this, it's going to be another champion. And I don't know what the legacy of this belt is going to be, Matt. I don't know if this is just going to be one of those times where we have it for about another 6 months and then it just gets phased out again. I have no idea, but they need to do something right here. But I'm going to go on a Kalisto win on this one, Matt. I'll take it's the same from you.
Yep, I'll go with that as well. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, let's go back to some questions before we move on then, because like I said at the start of the show, the quite a few questions. I've had some coming in as well whilst we've been on. Don't forget, if you want to email the show, it's hit us up at the Wrestling Skull Podcast at gmail.com. Let's go. Now we have, here he is, Stay Lucky, who's becoming a regular emailer to the show, I've noticed. That cracked me up when you said Foley Triple H, Street Fight on Mag 7. Fair play, though, for admitting it and not skipping over it. Looking forward to this weekend of WWE. What two matches are you both looking forward to watching on both NXT and Survivor Series? It's worse. That's our question. I'd probably say I'm looking forward to the main. I'm looking forward to the main Survivor Series match, like we haven't got onto yet. With Owens and all the rest of it, and AJ. I'm looking forward to that one. I don't know. I mean, I'm also looking forward to Nakamura and Joe again, to be honest with you. But then again, Goldberg and Lesnar has always got my attention. So I'm going to have to say 3, I'm afraid. They've been my 3 I'm looking at the most currently. But I'm also expecting some good things from Mickie James and Asuka as well. So there's some definite matches I'm going to keep my eye on, and then there's some matches I'm really not looking forward to. Matt, is there any 2 that stand out for you?
Oh yeah, 2 is an awkward number, isn't it?
It is.
I'll go with one of each. I'll say on NXT, I'm interested to find out about Asuka versus Mickie James. It's a big question mark for me, that one.
Sure.
Like, why Mickie James? Do they have plans for her? What's going to happen? So that one's got me interested. And I think on the main Survivor Series card, I think we can safely assume that they'll get to the main event one apiece. But I think the women's division for me on their Survivor Series is where it hangs in the balance. It's quite evenly matched, and I think there's some big names on there now. They've done well to establish big names in the women's division, so I'd like to see how that pans out. Yeah.
Just one more that I forgot about. Mick Foley versus Triple H. Oh no, it's the wrong one. Just kidding. P.S. He says, "Stay lucky." Yeah, thank you very much. Stay lucky for your question there. Okay, next one is, this is an interesting name, Skegness Rockless, I think is how I'm pronouncing this. Very interesting. I'm a female wrestler just breaking in and enjoy you both analysing wrestling. Wanted some advice on what you think gets a female performer over in a character. Blimey. No pressure, Matt, again, as always, when we get these questions for advice. I can't say I don't know, maybe we do analyse well. But thank you very much. It's a good compliment from a wrestler. I think just as a female wrestler, what gets people over? I'm trying to think currently what I'm seeing around, but I mean, man, the way Bayley is, I just think by being somebody herself, being true to herself, is a very good thing for a female performer currently. I think with the way society is looking at females is good now. I think that people are taking females very serious as athletes, which they should be, and they always should have been. So it's definitely a good time. I think as far as a character, it's very difficult because it all depends where you are, what promotion you're involved in, and you know what's going on at the time. But I think the only thing I can advise is it's something that is you, but notched up like 10, has the microphone turned up, basically. It's got to be something that you're comfortable with inside, and don't. I always say this is not just about female wrestlers. This is across the board. Don't just pick a character that you don't really identify with yourself at all, just because you think it's the right way. Just try and stay with something that's just you, but turned up by 1,000,000%. Matt, any advice from your side for a character here?
Well, the general trend they all seem to have is they all seem to have like tremendous confidence in themselves, don't they?
Yeah.
It's like when they speak on the mic, they definitely own it, don't they? And they come across very well. So it's so hard to actually say without being a wrestler ourselves. We're so good to watch it and enjoy it. But until you actually, like we saw that show Breaking Ground, it's incredibly hard to nail the character. Some people are down there for months and that, and when they get to NXT, they may have been on the Indies, but it's a whole different ball game, isn't it?
Sure.
So It's incredibly hard to say, really. I just say, like, have a lot of confidence in yourself, and it depends on whether you're a face or a heel. If you're a heel, being unbearably overconfident in yourself, like we've seen with Maria Kanellis on TNA or Sasha Banks when she was NXT, got them over terrifically. Or if you're a face, playing up to the crowd and actually making that connection with them, like when you come down and you actually touching their hands and actually that means a lot to some people, because I've had that before when I was like had my hand out and you actually get that touch and you're thinking, wow, actually I've been that close to one of the people who I idolized when I was younger, so it means a lot to some people.
Sure. I mean, I can only go off when I was very young. I was involved with wrestling and I'd done a manager capacity, and I was always taught by somebody who'd been in the business quite a long time that when you go out, if you're in a sort of much smaller arena, you want to touch all bases. So if I was a heel at the time, and I would make sure I kind of pissed off at least one kid, one female, and one male adult, and I would do certain things, whether it looked slightly vulgar and disgusting for a woman to not like me, like I might do something really stupid, like twig my nipple or something. I knew that would get the woman absolutely irate, like, oh my god. The male, you just kind of intimidate him a little bit, and the kids, that's really an easy one. But I always thought if I can get one out of each, each person in that audience, that gives you a little bit of head start by the time you get into the ring, and it kind of gives you a little bit more heat. And you just got to think up a little things, like what really irritates people. But again, if you're playing a babyface, it's completely the opposite. But I tell you what, because you've emailed in and all the rest of it, if you send us some videos or some pictures or whatnot, perhaps we can even have you on the show. And we can talk even more about it. So yeah, feel free to, if you're more than welcome to come on the show, and I'm sure that'll be a pretty decent episode nonetheless. So thank you very much for your question, Matt. Let's get back to Survivor Series. Let's do this thing again because we're going to talk about the females. In fact, now, Matt, what have you made of this? And here's the thing I'm interested about, and I'm interested to know your perspective of it, Max. I don't think I've asked you, but the fact that the captain of SmackDown is Nikki Bella and not not Becky Lynch, is that slightly sort of weird to you that it's not the champion and it's Nikki Bella? I know Nikki Bella's got the name power, but does it sort of undermine slightly Becky Lynch's role?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was going to say the same thing.
Oh right, there you go. Two minds. Good minds think alike.
Every other team has a champion that's captain, don't they?
Yes.
So it is definitely strange. It's like they don't trust. I'm not going to say don't trust Becky Lynch. It's like they prefer Nikki. I'm not sure why. I'm sure it's like something to do with her draw power that she's now on 2 reality TV shows, and now returning to SmackDown is a big thing for her, coinciding with that. I'm sure that's got something to do with it and all. Yeah, that might have something to do with it, but he's not even there, is he? So, I think really Becky should have been the leader. I think Nikki's tremendous in the ring. Her skills have improved like beyond what I thought her capabilities were. But I think right now, with the belt being on Becky, just suggests that on SmackDown Becky should be the best and seen as the best. And Nikki doesn't really even have that kind of leadership quality. They've got Natty outside the ring trying to be their coach. So it's all a bit of a shambles on that team if they're going to go from that kind of angle.
I didn't understand that at all. Now on paper, Matt, I think most people, and certainly the amount of emails we've had in, everyone is siding with Team Raw as saying that they have got the much more superior female wrestlers, which on paper they probably do, Matt, by quite a stretch. But of course, let's just read out who's involved in this. Team Raw, Charlotte Flair, as now she's known as. I don't know if you picked up on that, Matt, but it's now Charlotte Flair, which is interesting, the storyline point of view. Not that I really care too much, but if people really look into it, it's like, well, didn't she disrespect her dad and she wanted to do it on her own? Now she's